loves, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a new pick a card reading. Today's pick a card reading topic is what gifts and blessings are coming to you after this isolation period. I thought this video was a really good idea to help us get in the mood of looking forward to when this is all over. I'm sure we're already looking forward to when this is all over, but I thought it'd be a fun idea to even brighten the mood a little more. So love you guys lots. Hope you're all staying safe out there. If you guys are new to pick a card readings, I'm going to give you guys a quick little rundown of how it works. So over here we have pile number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can take a moment to pause the video if you'd like to find the pile that you're the most drawn to. And once you're done choosing your pile, you can scroll down to the comment box or the description box to find the timestamp that's linked to your specific card, so you can skip ahead to your personal reading. And if you guys like to choose with crystals on the bottom, I'll be adding some crystals on there right now. All right, so if you guys like to choose with crystals, here are our crystal options. Over here we have a really beautiful Shiva Lingam. It's so cute. I love this crystal. Then over here we have some aventurine. Also really love that crystal. And then over here, this is Picasso jasper. There are so many different types of jasper. I almost sometimes forget which one is which. Jasper is such a common crystal, and they come in all different kinds. And then over here, our last crystal is some danburite. It's very small, very cute, and very, very gorgeous. So there are our crystal options, you guys. Again, you can pause the video if you'd like to find the pile that you're the most drawn to. Once you're done choosing, of course, you can scroll down to the comment box or the description box to find the timestamp that's linked to your specific card, so you can skip ahead to your personal reading. And without further ado, let's hop right into this. All right, so group number 1, if you guys chose this pile, this is going to be your blessings and gifts coming to you after this isolation period. So let's find out what we have in store for you guys. All right, so group number 1, this is what I'm seeing for you guys. So we start off here with the King of Swords upright, then we have the 4 of Cups reversed, and then we have the 6 of Swords upright. So let's get into what all of this means. Over here with the King of Swords, I do feel like you guys are going to be going through a lot of like deciding how you want to think, and this is starting to think a lot more positively. So I don't know if you guys are working on the way that you think or overthink, or working on the way that you see yourself, the way that you see the world, and trying to, you know, be a lot more positive during this time. And I think that's actually going to have such a big payoff for you in the long run. So it's actually really good that you guys are analyzing the way that you are thinking. During this time, I do see that it's going to have such a big payoff, especially since we do have the 4 of Cups reversed next. This is really telling me that new opportunities are going to become available for you because of this new mindset, because of this new positivity. And this could even just be having a very positive outlook after this whole like isolation period is over. Maybe you guys are feeling stressed during it, but somehow after this isolation period, you guys are going to be in a lot more of a positive mind frame. Well, of course, I mean, who's not going to be, right? But anyway, because of this positive mind frame, it's going to attract to you more opportunities. And I do see you guys getting an opportunity out of the middle of nowhere, because when this 4 of Cups card is right side up, as we can see, he is looking at these cups that are in front of him that don't offer him what he actually wants. And then he's completely missing the fact that God or the universe right now is handing him the cup that he actually does want, but he's so focused on the things that he doesn't want that he doesn't even see it. But when this card is reversed, it kind of has an opposite meaning, where he finally turns around and sees this cup that's being handed to him of the opportunities and the things that he's actually been asking for and wishing for. And it's just a change of perspective, because as we can see, when you are thinking pessimistically, you see everything that you do not want, and you're oblivious to the fact that the things that you do want could be being given to you right behind you. So again, perspective change. All of a sudden you start to look away from this, and you see everything that you do want is right in front of you the whole time, or behind you, essentially. So I do see a big opportunity coming for you guys after this isolation period is over, and this opportunity is going to it's going to take you to completely new places when we have the Six of Swords over here. I'm just going to focus on this card. There we go. So this card right here, this is like going through a pretty big transition. So this is like leaving old things behind and moving into something completely different. It can be that when we leave these things behind, it's kind of bittersweet because we're going to miss our old way of life, but at the same time we're very excited where we're going and we're being guided in this new direction. So I do see you guys taking a new direction in life. This card can indicate that we go on a big trip. So it can deal with travel. It can also deal with moving. So if you guys have been thinking about moving to a new city, usually this card doesn't deal with just moving within the same city. When this card comes up, if it is talking about moving for you guys, you'll have to decipher. Again, it is a general reading, so I'm just giving out all the different possibilities here. This card can indicate that we're moving to a different city entirely, or it can indicate that we're doing a transfer in our career. It can also indicate that we are exiting a toxic relationship. It can indicate that we are leaving behind our old ways, our old behaviors, moving into something completely brand new. So I do see you guys either changing up your careers, again, moving to a new city, or making some pretty big travel plans where you guys do actually go away for quite a while. This isn't like, sometimes it can indicate short trips, but for the most part, what I'm really feeling from this card is like a pretty big trip that maybe lasts like 2 months or something like that. The next two cards that we have here is New Beginnings and Harmony. All right, so getting into this, the New Beginnings card over here, let the magic in my spell clear the space in which I dwell. So you guys are definitely taking on a new beginning. This Six of Swords tells me that completely, that you're gonna have this new opportunity that offers this new beginning. So again, new beginnings, maybe you guys are traveling somewhere you've never been before, and there's a little bit of maybe some hesitation along with that because you're like, oh my gosh, I've never done such a big thing on my own before or for so long before. There's a little bit of this feeling of like a bittersweet feeling here with this new beginning because you are transferring into a new life that's entirely different. So again, it could be in career as well. It could be definitely doing a job transition, doing a relationship transition, or moving to a new city. And then we do also have Harmony over here. So this is talking about the fact that this is so divine. It is going to feel so good. I'm actually getting like a wave of feeling right now that it's going to be quite exciting. It's going to feel like everything is just falling into place for you guys after this isolation. It's going to feel like everything's working out and everything is coming together in legitimate, total harmony. I'm getting a really, really beautiful feeling from this pile over here. I also do see you guys raising your confidence quite a bit with this King of Swords. I do want to point that out. I'm definitely getting that message right now that you guys are going to feel more confident than you ever have before, and you're going to be able to stand up for yourself in a totally new light and be able to really see very clearly what you want. This is a very clear perspective when all of a sudden our mind feels like we've just had a big cleanse. We're no longer confused. We can make decisions so easily. So again, any big decisions that you guys have been thinking about are going to be able to be made so easily and clearly and effortlessly. The next card that we have over here is Transformation, which is, oh my gosh, it fits into this reading perfectly. I love when tarot and oracle work together like this and somehow they just play off of each other so well. So the Transformation is exactly like the New Beginnings, and it is also exactly like the Six of Swords that we have over here. You guys are totally going through a big life transformation. So the big blessings and gifts coming to you after this isolation is I feel like it's going to inspire you to make a really big change in your life, and this transition is going to feel so good. Again, it might feel a little bit bittersweet because there might be a part of you that might feel a bit scared, but yet feels so good about it that you're so sure about making this decision, but yet there's a bit of a feeling of like, ooh, well, I have to sacrifice a lot in my life. I have to take this big chance. But at the same time, this King of Swords is telling me that your mindset is going to be so clear, you don't have to worry because you are making a very clear decision for yourself, and it's not something that you're not making this decision in a clouded judgment. You're not doing that. You're making this decision in a very clear-headed way, which means it's going to end up being the right decision for you. The next two cards that we have over here is love and boundaries. All right, so with this love card coming up, there could be a chance of some big romance blossoming, or just getting deeper with your current lover if you guys are in a relationship. But it can also indicate that we even fall in love with somebody new at this point if you guys are not in a relationship. If you guys are in a relationship, you guys might even be moving in with your loved one. If you guys are in a long-term relationship, this new beginning can be that you guys end up moving in with a loved one over here. Boundaries can indicate the home, because boundaries are, you know, the four corners and the different structures around you, so it can indicate the home. So it can indicate that you guys might be moving in with a loved one if you guys are in a long-term relationship. If not, this is just saying that I feel like there's going to be an abundant amount of passion within you, a bunch of creativity that you just feel like you are bursting with this new creative sense, and you're very excited to get started on this new life of yours, and you're ready to restructurize your entire life when we have this boundary card. This is like definitely looking at all the areas in your life, all the four corners, and being like, okay, I need to transform this, I need to do this, I need to paint these walls, I need to redo that. It can also be that we're doing renovations in our house or redecorating, and this can also be in your personality as well, creating more harmony within yourself, becoming a lot more confident, creating proper boundaries around you. And this can cause a lot of change and transformation in your life, because certain people will fall out of your life, but then again, you're going to come across so many new people that end up filling all of these spaces anyway. But I do feel like sometimes when we do set proper boundaries and stuff in our relationships, we end up either transforming the relationship entirely, or sometimes we end up transforming our entire friend group because of it. It really honestly just depends. But for most of you guys, I do feel like this boundary thing has to deal with home a lot. So you guys are either possibly moving in with a loved one, or there's just a lot of creativity and passion behind this transition. And there's also a lot of creativity and passion that's surrounding you at this time. And it's very interesting that this transformation card has pink on this side and green on this side, and that's exactly what we have in these cards. It's just a very interesting thing I'm noticing. So again, this correlates a lot with harmony, because there's a beautiful harmony even happening in the cards right now, which is blowing my mind. So I do think that you guys are going to have this beautiful harmony in your life, where it just feels like everything's falling into place perfectly. Like somehow this card completely fell into place based on this card, and same over here on this side. Like there's this beautiful balance between like feminine and masculine energy right here. So I do feel like there's this beautiful like love blossoming. This can be in friends, or if you guys are in a relationship with a loved one. All right, and our next two cards, well, our last two cards actually, I should say, is Jupiter, Abundance, and then we also have Black Moon Lilith of Mystery. So with these two cards over here, Jupiter, Abundance, again, I feel like you guys are going through a period where you are attracting a lot to you at this time. Abundance, I feel like you guys are going to be bursting with more items, more material items in your life. You're feeling more abundant than you probably ever have. I feel like you guys are gaining gifts out of nowhere. It feels like, again, your life is just in some sort of perfect harmony. It's almost unexplainable. You feel more fulfilled is the word I'm looking for, than you ever have in a long time after this period is over. And again, I feel like you guys are making these big moves and transitions, and it's going to make you feel more creative and more alive than ever. Black Moon Lilith of Mystery, I feel like there's still some like fun things to explore in life. You're heading into a mysterious time that you probably can't quite pinpoint what the outcome of it's going to be, because you're making these big transformations and these big new beginnings and these new decisions. And so there's part of you that's going to feel like you don't have it all figured out and that you're just jumping right into these new things, but it is very exciting, because Black Moon Lilith is like, okay, maybe we're making some decisions that normally society would tell us are crazy decisions, but yet we feel so good about them. So that is what I'm seeing for you guys, pile number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. All right, so pile number 2, if you guys chose this pile, this is going to be your reading on what gifts and blessings are coming to you after isolation. So let's get started. Here's what we have for you guys, pile number 2. We start off over here with the Sun being reversed, then we have the Hangman right side up, and then we have the Magician right side up. These are all major arcana cards, might I say. So this is going to be a major time for you guys. This is going to be a life-changing moment. And of course, for almost everyone, it's going to be a life-changing moment when we can finally go back outside and live normal life again, go to the grocery store and actually buy the items we came to buy. It is going to be a major transition for all of us, but for you guys in particular, there's going to be a pretty major shift since we have all major arcana cards right here. And I will say that both of them are correct. You guys have some pretty positive cards over here. The Hangman is usually pretty neutral as a card, but these two cards being surrounded by it, even though the Sun's reversed, the Sun is still so positive. So I'm really excited about this reading. All right, so I'm almost getting the vibe for you guys that right when this isolation period ends, you're almost going to be sitting there like, wait a minute, I just started like getting really creative and figuring my life out. Let me just sit in this isolation period for a little bit longer, because I feel like by the end of this isolation, you're finally going to get into the groove of becoming very creative, and your mind, I feel like, is going to start bursting with ideas, and you're finally going to get really productive by the end of it. Maybe you guys are already feeling that way already, but if not, especially by the end of this isolation, you're going to start feeling really creative. And as you're exiting this period, I feel like everyone's going to be like, oh, let's go out, let's have a good time. And you're going to be sitting there like, wait, no, wait. I just started figuring all of this out and getting into such a good groove that I feel like you guys are actually going to wait in this period a little bit longer. Some of you guys I know are probably hearing this right now like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get out. I don't want to have this prediction. But trust me, whatever way that you guys are feeling, it's going to put you into this new perspective. And you're going to feel really inspired by it. It doesn't mean that you guys aren't going to leave your house. Like, you guys might even go work at a cafe for a bit, or like, you know, go bring all of your stuff with you and, you know, work from other places. But I do feel like you guys are going to be in this new kind of like wave or like transition of life where you're realizing, ooh, I'm like bursting with these creative ideas, or this new way of life is inspiring you and getting you more on track than I think you've ever been. And I feel like there's going to be this almost dilemma, because part of you can't wait to stop feeling stuck, but at the same time I feel like you're going to reach this enlightenment while you're stuck, interestingly enough. Because as we can see, like, you know, the Hangman, this card indicates feeling stuck and feeling like you can't go anywhere any longer. So then he, you know, the point of him hanging upside down is him changing his perspective on his situation. All of a sudden he reaches this enlightened sense. As we can see, like, it's almost like the sun beaming out around him, this halo, this enlightenment is beaming around him. And we do also have the Sun card. So these two cards play off of each other very, very well. And it's saying that you guys are all of a sudden going to find this inspiration in this stillness and these ideas and this new epiphany, essentially, in this stillness. And it's going to make you very, very inspired, since we end on the Magician. This is like all of a sudden realizing that you've had it all in front of you this whole time, and you don't actually need to go out. You don't actually need to get anything outside of you in order to complete this new idea of yours, in order to do and start these new things that you've been probably desiring to begin. And you realize you had it all in front of you the whole time, and it's just a perspective change. If you guys have been feeling like drained of energy or bored being at home, if you guys are at home, I know some of us are out there working, and kudos to you if you are, but I'm feeling for most of you, you guys have a lot more spare time on your hands, and part of you guys might be feeling bored and stuff, but as long as you just allow this period of stillness to be what it is, instead of trying to push forward, you'll all of a sudden reach these big epiphanies, and you guys will be reaching this big epiphany. So the gifts and blessings is that you guys will almost reach this new level of reality where you realize that you can create anything you want right now. And you're going to finally utilize this time and finally begin utilizing this time to start something entirely new, where you guys are going to be manifesting some of your biggest dreams and finally starting on the road of creating some of those biggest things. Maybe you guys are already creating some big things, but I feel like even more is coming about right now. Even more things are going to be blossoming. As we can see in this card, this is all about those sunflowers blossoming, having this really good, happy feeling. I feel like you guys are going to reach this really big, happy feeling, even though the sun is reversed. When the sun is right side up, it means that we're even more happy. There's just this bliss around us. Even when the sun is reversed, we're still feeling really good, but sometimes it feels like we're delayed, we're stuck, which is exactly why we have the Hangman next, essentially. So the next two cards that we have over here is joy and friendship. So joy is exactly like the sun card, interestingly enough. So we have two cards that are, again, kind of repeating the same sort of message over here, where there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of happiness, there's a lot of abundance surrounding you. These two cards really signify abundance and feeling inspirational, inspired. Very, very inspired and very creative. It's a very creative energy. And then we also have friendship next. So some of you guys might be feeling a little bit lonely when we have the Hangman. So another blessing is afterwards, I feel like, again, you guys are going to feel really good and very creative. And then being around your friends again, I think, is going to be a very, very beautiful thing. And I feel like you guys might also have like a new perspective with your friends and have like a new, even deeper relationship with your friends. And I feel like it's going to be somehow more productive and not just the same old, same old. I feel like with your friends, somehow it's transforming into something that is even closer and more beautiful and more inspirational and productive altogether. The next card that we have, is great achievement. So again, I have been kind of feeling this vibe from you guys, that you guys are about to create something pretty big, or that you guys are starting some sort of projects that are going to pay off really well. So I do see this like higher up achievement that you guys are going to be getting after this isolation. So one of the gifts and blessings that you guys are going to reach is either some sort of promotion. This can also be achieving one of your lifelong goals that you've been trying to do for so long, but maybe you had it on the back burner because you never felt like you had the time to put towards it, or you never felt like you had, you just never felt like it could happen for you. But finally, I feel like you're putting that time towards it by the end of this isolation, or even right now. And you guys are going to actually attain that. After this isolation period ends, you guys are going to attain some pretty big achievements. This could be manifesting a big material item that you guys have been wanting. This can also be manifesting a big goal that you guys had for a long time, but maybe you just didn't feel like it could happen quite yet. But finally, you guys have the time to put towards it, and it's going to be happening for you guys. Our next two cards that we have here is manifestation and peace. So manifestation is exactly like the magician card. The magician card over here, they're very, very similar. So I feel like you guys are going to be honestly achieving such great things that you guys have been probably thinking about manifesting for a long time. That's exactly what that card, again, sort of repeats over here. And then peace over here, I feel like there's going to be this like beautiful, energetic feeling of like, oh, I'm so glad this is over. It's like that big sigh of relief is what I'm kind of really feeling from this peace card over here, which I'm sure we're all going to be feeling after this isolation period ends. But it did come out for you guys, so I feel like you guys are going to be feeling it pretty strong. And also with your friends, I feel like, again, being able to just be with your friends and go out. I see you guys going for like lunches and dinners and stuff with your friends, and just feeling so good to be outside. I'm really seeing that for you guys over there. And then moving on to our last two cards over here, we have Virgo, I analyze. And then we also have the third house messages. All right, so getting into these two cards, Virgo, I analyze, this is ruled by the 6th house, which does rule a little bit around career. So I do feel like you guys are starting some sort of new project around career, or maybe that you are manifesting money in a new way, trying to manifest like a big material item, because Virgo is an earth sign. It deals with the material things in our world. Anything around job, schooling, or money is what Virgo kind of rules over here, or any sort of earth sign. So I do feel like for you guys, you're creating this bigger achievement somewhere along the lines of career, school, or with money. And then also we have the third house over here of messages, and it's right beside the friendship and peace card. So I do feel like, again, you're gonna feel so good being able to communicate in person with the people that you love. You're going to feel so good about being able to really be around the people that you love. So this is what I'm seeing for you guys. I do feel like your phone is going to be blowing up with messages after this thing is all over. I feel like you're going to be hearing from lots and lots of people. You're probably even hearing from lots of people right now, but I feel like you're going to be, the third house is like going out, socializing a lot. So I think you're going to get so many invitations to go out and socialize once this thing is all over. I'm sure we all will be on that boat, but for you guys in particular are getting it really strong in this reading. So that can also, third house can sometimes also indicate very short trips, very short travel as well. So if you guys are thinking about, you know, taking a quick trip to a nearby city or something like that, I do see that as a possible outcome for you guys as well, especially along with friends. If you guys have been thinking about doing a little quick road trip somewhere or something like that. So that is what I'm seeing for you guys, pile number 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. All right, so group number 3, if you guys chose this pile, this is going to be your reading on gifts and blessings coming to you after this period of isolation. So let's get started. All right, so group number 3, this is what I'm seeing for you guys. Right when I saw the Queen of Pentacles, I thought of some material things that we are attached to. So if some of you guys chose this pile that really like to get their hair or nails done or their eyebrows waxed or like whatever, after this period of isolation, you're finally gonna be like, oh, I can put myself together again and go fix all of these things. And not that anyone needs those things, but I feel like there's going to be a sense of relief of being like, ooh, I can finally go do that again. I've needed that. I've needed a refresher. So some of you guys might be on that level. I also feel like some of you guys, Queen of Pentacles can sometimes indicate going on a shopping spree, finally feeling like, ooh, I'm going to go get this food. I'm going to go do that. There's some like material things that I feel like you guys need to catch up on that you're going to be pretty relieved to be able to go and catch up on those things. When we have the Ace of Swords being reversed over here, this can sometimes indicate that we need a perspective change, and this whole thing is going to help us change our perspective quite a bit. So this is when we change our thinking patterns, when we change our mind frames, and we start to really get ourselves together. You guys also might notice with these two things that after isolation, you're like, okay, I really want to start exercising. I really want to get my life together. I really want to start eating healthy, that kind of stuff. And so this is sometimes when you get a little bit critical about our behavior that we had during isolation, is kind of what I'm picking up on here, is that you might get really like, oh, wow, did I really spend all of that time doing all the blank things that I did? You might feel like it was a little bit unproductive, especially when we're surrounded by these two cards. But the blessings in this is the fact that it's going to cause you a big perspective change, and it's going to cause you to be really productive after the fact. So if you guys have been noticing that you're being lazy right now, that's fine. If you guys are working right now, like kudos, bow to you. Oh my goodness. Couldn't even imagine some of the jobs that some of us have to keep doing, that's being on like the front lines and stuff right now. But anyway, I do feel like there's this huge like feeling of I must get my butt in order after all of this. And you might be looking at like the fact that it feels like you didn't really get too much done during isolation, and I feel like you're gonna really be like, come on, it's time to get my butt in order. So the gifts and blessings is you really getting this like urge to do more and this urge to change quite a bit. And then we also do end on the 7 of Cups being reversed over here. So this is when we are worried about making the wrong choice, but there is some big decisions that you guys are going to be having to make after this. I also feel like you guys are going to be quite overwhelmed with plans afterwards. When we have the Seven of Cups reversed, I feel like you're there's going to be so many options of what to do, but you're almost going to be sitting there like, oh, I don't even know what to do. I've been sitting in isolation for so long that what do I do first? What do I do? So I do feel like there's going to be an overwhelming, abundant amount of things coming at you, things that you need to do afterwards. So a blessing in that is the fact that finally you have all of these opportunities in front of you that you're able to pick and decide on. But I think it's almost going to be hard to decide because there's just so many things that are now available to you after this whole period. The next two cards that we have, is romance and glamour. So this card coming up, I do feel like you guys are going to be a bit focused on getting your regular stuff back in order, like, getting your hair done, whatever you guys like to do, like pampering yourselves that you haven't been able to do in a little bit. I feel like that's going to be a big thing that happens after this period of isolation, and I feel like it's going to come very easily. I also feel like with the Queen of Pentacles being right side up, for most of you guys that chose this pile, I feel like you've been able to save up quite a bit of money during this time, and so you're going to actually feel quite abundant coming out of it, and you're going to be like, ooh, what do I do next? But part of you might also be hesitant on spending, being like, oh, well, I've saved up this much, which is kind of fun, so should I really be spending it all? I feel like you guys have been learning quite a bit about how to not splurge your money too much, but I do see you guys afterwards spending it on just the things that you do truly enjoy, that you want to keep doing, and kind of pampering yourselves and stuff like that. I definitely see like a pretty big pampering time coming afterwards. So that's either, going shopping, renewing your style in some way, getting new clothes, getting your nails done, whatever you guys like to do. I do see a big thing like that coming up for you guys. We do also have this romance card, which is super fun. So if you guys are single, I definitely see a lot of opportunities coming your way for potential people trying to get a hold of you and trying to take you out. And it might even be hard to decide who to go out with when we do have the Seven of Cups being reversed. If you guys are in a relationship, then this is meaning that I feel like you guys are going to finally feel like, ooh, we can finally blossom again. We can finally get back to our life. And I do feel like there's going to be, different surprises coming your way. I do feel like you might have to wait a little bit. I don't think they're going to happen super soon right after this isolation period ends. I do feel like you guys might have to wait like about 3 months. But in 3 months, I do feel like you guys are going to be surprised romantically. And I do feel like if you guys are in a relationship, this is like going on a trip together. If you guys are single, this is just, some nice romantic gestures of people wanting to take you out on dates or trying to get a hold of you, that kind of stuff. But I do see like a beautiful thing happening over here. Romance and glamour popping up is just such a, I'm getting like Disney vibes from this. I'm getting like fairy tale vibes from this. It's very cute. I'm feeling like a really good energy from this, in fact. A really beautiful energy, actually. Oh my God, it's like warming my heart right now of the romance that is going to be entering your life, or at least deepening after this isolation period. The next card that we have is the Healing Light. So I do feel like you guys are probably, definitely actually, going to be going through like this major purge of realizing that you don't need all of these things that you used to do, and you're going to be almost like purging some like old mind frames out of your life, some old habits that weren't good for you. So I do feel like you guys are purging bad habits. This can be eating habits, health habits, like exercise habits that you guys didn't have, and now you're finally going to be implementing them. This can be also realizing that you want to save more of your money instead of spending it. I feel like you're healing so many bad, or not necessarily that they were bad habits, but I guess like in a sense, realizing the habits that do not serve you and the ones that you want to replace them with. So I feel like you guys are going through this big like healing of like, okay, I want to better myself. I want to live a better life. I want to implement these new things that I've learned and stuff like that. The next two cards that we have over here is Transformation and Lightbringer. Ooh. Okay, so the Transformation card over here, you guys are definitely, I mean, it's self-explanatory. You guys are going through a big change. There's going to be lots of changes that are implementing in your life during this time. I do also feel like you're going to be attracting things that you haven't attracted in quite a while. Transformation is, you know, almost the same colors as Glamour card and very connected to the Spirit card with the purple over here. So this is the crown chakra. This is realizing and letting go of things that we were once attached to that didn't serve us. And so realizing that maybe we don't need to over splurge our money, and maybe we don't need to eat all of this unhealthy food. Maybe we can really focus on bettering ourselves in a certain way. So I do feel like you guys are going to be going through a big transformation and realizing the things that really do matter to you, and realizing a lot more self-love. I feel like there's a lot more self-love in here as well. And then we do also have the Lightbringer over here. So this is getting rid of some toxic habits, getting rid of bad habits, and transmuting them into better habits, replacing them with habits that are actually productive for us and prosperous for us and actually do serve our highest good. The next two cards that we have is Mercury, the Mind, and then Cancer, I Feel. These cards are both green, which connects to the heart chakra, which I will say kind of deals with this romance kind of thing that we have going on. So I want to add another card onto the romance card because this is pretty much the only thing that we have talking about romance and love here. So I just want to get some clarification about what kind of romance and love it is, whether it's relationship wise or more of like self-love type of stuff. All right, so the card that we have is the Death card. This is a transformation in romance. So when we have this coming up, this is having a new perspective on romance. I'm just going to show you guys the card right here, so because it's probably hard to see since it's super shiny. So this card is actually a really good card. A lot of people get scared when this card comes up, but I actually really like this card. It just indicates a lot of big changes, and so I feel like for you guys, you're going to have this new perspective on romance. I feel like you guys are going to almost deepen your appreciation for romance and get to a deeper level with romance, because I feel like you guys are definitely like eradicating some old belief systems that probably held you back or kept you a little bit more maybe shallow, or kept you a little bit distant, or kept your heart closed off, because as we can see in this card, he is kind of closing off his heart over here. So I feel like you guys are going through this transformation of opening up so much more on such a deeper, oh yeah, that's definitely the message. You guys are going to be able to open up your heart so much deeper in terms of love and romance and stuff like that. So you guys are going to shed off a skin and become very, open and vulnerable, and actually start to feel so much deeper. That's why we have the Cancer I Feel card coming up, because Cancers, they feel things very, very deeply. They are hopeless romantics, as well as a few other signs in the zodiac, but Cancer is one of them. And Cancer really likes to feel cuddled and loved on a very deep level, and they're able to really express their emotions very, very, very deeply. And they feel things very, very, very deeply. So I feel like you guys are gonna be able to open up to become even more vulnerable and loved on an even deeper level. So if you guys are in a relationship, I feel like that love is going to take an even deeper set in you and your partner. I feel like you guys are going to open up your hearts on a whole other level. I feel like you guys are still closed off to certain love things. I feel like you guys, if you're in a relationship, I feel like you guys have a really good relationship, but when it comes to actually expressing your deep emotions, I feel like you actually hold it back. So yeah, or you actually keep your heart closed off to even noticing that you're feeling something even deeper than you realize. And I feel like you're going to realize that you feel something way deeper than you knew. If you guys are single, I feel like you guys are actually going to finally open yourselves up to romance, because you're going to take down these swords that are holding everyone at bay. So finally, you're going to open yourselves up, you guys, if you guys are single, and you're going to open yourselves up to having a relationship. And I feel like you're going to actually be attracting one a few months afterwards. Then we also do have Mercury, the Mind. Mercury is ruled by Virgo and by Gemini. I feel like you guys are expanding your mind resetting your mind, becoming more productive, more analytical. I feel like you guys are actually analyzing your mindset and realizing that you might have been a bit harsh on yourself, or a little bit negative, or too hard on yourself, or too critical. And you guys are going to finally be like, okay, I'm going to start loving myself. You're going to start listening to your emotions, your feelings. You're going to start healing so many aspects of yourselves to becoming much more in alignment and much more open and free and loving towards yourself. And your habits are going to be changing to much more positive ones, which is why we have the Lightbringer card and the transformation card. So that is what I'm seeing for you guys, pile number 3. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. All right, so pile number 4, if you guys chose this pile, this is going to be your reading on the gifts and blessings coming to you after this isolation period. So let's hop right into it. All right, so pile number 4, this is what we have for you guys. So we start off with the Temperance, we have the 8 of Wands, and then we have the 3 of Cups, but reversed. So let's hop in to what all of this means. First off, I do want to mention these 2 cards on their own indicate travel, and together it obviously indicates travel, because both of them do indicate that. And usually this is to somewhere pretty distant. So this is actually some pretty big travel plans. So I would say the gifts and blessings coming to you guys after isolation is plans start really moving forward. Things get pushed into motion. That's exactly what this card indicates over here, the 8 of Wands, which is, of course, pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure all of us are going to feel like plans are moving forward afterwards. But in you guys in particular, these are some travel plans as well. So this is, you know, going on a vacation, going somewhere nice. Definitely see that in the books for you guys. If not, if travel is completely out of the question for you guys, this would then indicate that so much feels like it's moving forward so quickly afterwards. And this over here is definitely like a distance card though. This is like, there's a lot to do. There's finally like this new balance that we've totally acquired. So you're feeling really good even though things start moving very quickly, and I feel like you're able to handle them so well and so easily because you're finally just so ready to get back out there and start doing things that it just feels like even though so much is happening and so much is going on, it's going to feel really good. It's going to feel awesome, to the point where I actually feel like you guys won't really have time to see a lot of friends and stuff like that. It might feel like, oh my gosh, things are so busy. I don't even have time to like go out and celebrate, that kind of stuff. But it's such a good busy. It just feels so good. And maybe you guys are going to be absent a lot through traveling or something like that, that it just feels like, whew, things are just happening so quickly. I do also feel like you're going to be surrounded by a lot of really good people. There's going to be celebrations and stuff, but it might feel like those are a little bit on hold because of all the new opportunities and new things that are coming and landing on your doorstep. Things are finally taking off, stuff like that. So, whew, lots happening over there. I also feel like when we have Temperance and the 3 of Cups reversed, it's almost like there's also a sense of toxic habits have been cut back. If you guys have those, that can sometimes indicate that certain overindulgences that we once had are finally brought to a balance because of everything that we've gone through. And so we feel much more alive, we feel much more free, we feel like we're not really bound by those things anymore. So that can also be another thing that these cards are indicating if that's something that relates to you guys. Again, it is a general reading, so you just have to find what things correlate with you and what things do not. I also feel like with this Temperance card, I'm also seeing that you guys are receiving so much. Right after this period ends. I feel like all of a sudden you guys might have been feeling a bit of a lack during this time, like things just weren't coming in, money wasn't coming in, opportunities, resources weren't flowing in. I feel like you're going to almost feel very abundant afterwards when coming out of this time, and you're going to feel like your cup is just being filled to the brim, and you feel like everything's just flowing again, everything's in balance, everything's in that harmony, things are growing, things are blossoming for you. So it's going to feel really, really good in that aspect. So adding 2 more cards, ooh, we were just talking about abundance, and we have the abundance card that just came out. So these are our next 2 cards. Authenticity over here. There's going to be this feeling of there's so much more good. Again, I was kind of talking about some possible toxic habits or habits that just didn't serve your highest good, or habits that we just put off maybe our own dreams too much in order to place so much time into like friends and going out and stuff like that. It can be indicative of that, or it can be our own toxic habits that we're always just kind of distracting ourselves with celebration and stuff. Whatever kind of maybe toxic habits you've had, they can come in all different forms. I feel like you guys are going to finally see this in a more authentic light and realize that maybe it's time to cut back on these things. Maybe it's time to have a bit more of a balance and take care of ourselves a little bit more. This can be also when we stop overindulging in certain things, and we start to tell ourselves, okay, it's time to be healthy. It's time to get our life on track. So I feel like there is an aspect of that coming out for you guys. Again, there is a lot of abundance. So if you guys have been feeling a bit of a lack, or like your cup was a bit empty, I feel like all of a sudden it's going to be overflowing with things. Things are finally moving forward again. Things are finally like feeling really good. And I feel like it's going to feel really busy. It's going to feel busy because of the fact that I feel like you guys have put so much on hold for so long that all of a sudden it's just like all piling up at the door, but yet you guys are like excited to take it on. You guys are excited to get started in this again because of the amount of relaxation that you guys have had, this new mindset that you guys have had. Yeah, I definitely feel like resources are increasing, money is increasing, overall fulfillment is increasing when we have this abundance card. The next card that we have is Angels of the Four Directions. And in the Temperance card, this is like an angel right here, and then we have the angels over here. So this is telling me that there's like some really big blessings that are happening, especially in terms of abundance. This card is like this purple kind of color up at the top with the Spirit card, and then it really connects with the abundance. And so it's almost like you guys are being rewarded and gifted out of nowhere. You guys don't even understand where all of these things came from. Also, the Angels of the Four Directions. The Four Directions reminds me of, north, east, south, west, which is exactly what it's pertaining to, which is travel once again. So I do feel like a lot of you guys are traveling, especially with the wings here and the wings here. I do feel like there's some big travel opportunities for you guys who chose this pile. So I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are going to make some big trips somewhere, or possibly multiple. The next two cards that we have over here is Emotions and Insights. So with these two cards, Emotions over here, I feel like you guys are finally kind of being really authentic with yourselves about the way that you've been feeling and the way that maybe your old life has made you feel, or at least you're just like really becoming aware of certain emotions that you've had, and you're feeling like you're being guided towards more balance and feeling a lot better. And just, yeah, there's like a deep insight for you guys on your emotions. You guys might also have this like spiritual aspect of yourselves where you like to go deep on your emotions, or maybe do some like healing, maybe do some like angel work if you guys are into that sort of thing. If not, this is just becoming really aware over your emotions, but also I feel like your emotions are going through this transformation of like, ooh, all of a sudden things are in balance, all of a sudden things are abundant, and it's going to feel really, really good. And I feel like a lot of this happens for you guys because of this new mindset of becoming very authentic about your emotions and really looking into them. There's some like deep healing that happens when we have these cards. The last two cards that we have is Sagittarius, I see, and then the Moon, Soul. So Sagittarius, again, is a card that connects to travel. Sagittarius is all about travel, especially big worldly travel. So again, wouldn't be surprised if you guys are taking some big trips after this. When we have Sagittarius, this is all about setting your sights on a destination and going there. It's also very philosophical, so I do feel like you guys are going to have a lot of time for reflection, being very philosophical with yourselves and realizing what you need more of in your life and realizing how to balance that out. And then the Moon of Soul connects to emotions because it's ruled by Cancer, which is all about the emotions and getting your emotions in check and feeling like, okay, I just need to be open, I need to be honest, I need to be real. And I feel like just there's so much more understanding that happens with this and so much more balance. So that is what I'm seeing for you guys. Pile number 4. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.